That's fine. I'll go. I'm amending it right now, actually. So give me a moment. And I have two buckets. Good morning, this is Jail.
Sorry, what was that?
I said good morning. This is the jail.
Good morning, and good morning to everybody else as well.
Good morning.
Any other?
Your Honor, if I can,
Yes, please.
if I may, Mr. Duarte Anthony is refusing this morning. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I don't think we have any other refusals, Judge. I do think he is bringing a felony matter right now, though. I'm not sure who it is.
Right. There was someone I thought could be in the hospital, but I wasn't sure.
Before we get started, Neil, I still don't have any of the interims in OneDrive.
The interim complaints?
Yeah.
Let me see what I can do. It's usually not my gig to do that, but I'll see if I can put them in there.
Thank you.
The public defender, Jacob Marsh. All right, please state your name.
Geronta Fisher.
Number 2. All right, it looks like we are here today for your first appearance after being picked up on charges out of Maricopa County of possession of narcotic drugs. It looks like you're also being held on another case that's not before me. So what we're going to do this morning is we are going to set your hearing in this, set a review hearing in this warrant out of Maricopa County to see if you are still here dealing with your local charges or if you have been released to Maricopa County. That is going to be set for March 18th at 9 a.m. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Do you have any questions?
I don't really understand anything that you just said.
All right.
So we're waiting for Manitoba to pick you up. If they haven't picked you up in a month, so you're going to come back here. Check the pros to figure out what's going on. Okay, we're just waiting for it. Okay.
All right, never mind.
Thanks, you're excused.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
And I've got the interims now. Thank you, Neil.
Oh, can you take all that off? Yes, thank you. It was before I realized what it was. I don't have that much information.
What is this about?
Please state your name.
Jacob Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, you are here today on your initial appearance for a warrant out of Stafford. It looks like you also have another matter that you are being held for that is not in front of me this morning in Pima. And you don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me what that is. But does that make sense to you? Great. All right. So what we're going to do with the warrant from out of county is we are going to set a review hearing. That's going to be March 18th at 9 a.m. That is for the purpose of finding out if you are still being held here on your local charges or if you have been released to the other county. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Then you're excused for today.
You're the hell out of me. In the 30 minutes, all the lines to see.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Dylan, last is Bouts, middle is Younger.
Mr. Fouts, this is the time for your initial appearance on a couple of warrants on failure to appear, one out of Moreno and one out of Pima County.
Okay.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. For today, I am going to appoint Janet Altschuler to represent you in the Moreno City Court case. On that case, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $250. That is cash or secured. You will be able to be heard tomorrow on this case at noon via video in Moreno City Court. If you were to post bond and then fail to appear at that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. You understand the consequences of failing to appear.
Yeah.
And also, if you were to post bond, there would be additional conditions of release, including no alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with the alleged victim, do not return to the incident location. And then on the Pima County case, you can also be heard tomorrow at 1 p.m. before Judge Steele in Pima County Justice Court via video. So I'm also going to hold you on that case on a bond of $250. Those are not concurrent because they're in different jurisdictions. If you were to post that bond and then fail to appear for your court date, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Further conditions would be that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, have no contact with the alleged victims, do not return to the incident location, and for the Pima County Justice Court case, I am appointing Christian Salter to represent you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right. Then you are excused for today.
Is your next if you're still here, they're gonna be over video, okay? So make sure
I'm staying here.
first. Yeah.
Not released.
Where you got those 2 hearings, okay?
Okay.
Basil Johnson?
Please state your name.
Rochelle Johnson.
For your initial appearance on charges of criminal damage, that is a DV offense. This is out of Marana City Court. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney. And in certain circumstances, if you cannot afford one, an attorney may be appointed for you. Ma'am, if I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your next court date, would you appear at your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
And I am going to order you that you be released on your promise to appear. The additional conditions of release are that you possess and consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence and possess no firearms or weapons, that you have no contact with the alleged victim and do not go to their residence or workplace.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you living with the alleged victim?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I am going to allow that you can go back one time with a police escort to pick up your belongings. You'll take my order to the nearest police station to the residence, and they will escort you to the residence to pick up your belongings.
Okay.
And your next court date is going to be March 26th. That's at 10 a.m. at Marana City Court. That's for an arraignment. Should you fail to appear for that court date, a warrant could issue for your arrest. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're excused for today.
So you're gonna get out today. You gotta make sure you're in city court until you. Okay, I'm seeing no problem.
Okay. Spanish speaker. The file.
Good morning. Good morning.
Please state your name.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Mario Andre Rea.
All right, Mr. Rea, we are here today for your first appearance on charges involving disorderly conduct and assault that are domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire your own attorney, and under certain circumstances, if you cannot afford one, an attorney may be appointed for you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release right now. If I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear, would you appear at your next court date?
Certainly, Your Honor.
And it's my understanding that you were not living with the alleged victim.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so I will order that you be released on your promise to appear. The additional conditions of release are that you possess and consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, have no contact with the alleged victims, and do not go to their residence or workplace. Your next court date is going to be March 20th. That is at 10:30 in the morning before Judge Foster at Pima County and Justice Court. Should you fail to appear for that court date, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
I understand, Your Honor.
Thank you. You're excused for today.
Yes. All right, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
Cynthia Salcedo.
Ms. Salcedo, you are here this morning for your first appearance on charges of shoplifting. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice, and in certain circumstances, an attorney could be appointed to represent you if you cannot afford one. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. If I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear, will you appear at your next court date?
Yes.
All right. So I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear. The only additional conditions of release are that you have no contact with the alleged victim and do not return to the incident location. Your next court date is going to be March 20th at 8:30 a.m. before Judge Foster at Pima County Justice Court. If you were to fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. You understand?
I do.
All right. You're excused for today.
Thank you.
Just for the court's information, you have superior court rule.
Oh, you know what? I did have that on here and I just didn't notice it. Ma'am, so even though I'm ordering that you be released on this case, it sounds like you... Okay, great. Thank you.
Sales.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
Kihei Salas.
Mr. Salas, you are here today on your initial appearance on a couple of different charges. We have a failure to appear out of Marana City Court on charges of drug paraphernalia. And then we have Tucson City Court charges that are also in failure to appear status for criminal trespassing. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Sir, if I were to order that you be held on your Marana City Court charge, you would be able to be heard tomorrow at noon. Does that sound good to you?
Okay.
So I'm just going to order that you be held on a bond of $100. That's cash or secured. And then you will be heard tomorrow at noon in Marana City Court. And you'll be able to, you'll be able to get that case taken care of. And I am going to appoint, I believe it's Altschuler, Janet Altschuler to represent you in that case.
Okay.
And then on your city court case, if I were to order that you be released on that case, once you've handled your Marana court case, on your promise to appear, would you appear for your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then I will order on that case that you are released on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be March 19th. That's at 2 o'clock. And that is before Judge Mayhew.
Okay.
The further conditions of release are that you have no contact with the alleged victim in that case and that you do not return to the incident location.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you do not appear for that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you are excused for today.
So 2 court dates. Okay, they're both there. Okay, thank you. Real.
Okay. Good morning. Please state your full name.
Brian David Wolf.
Mr. Wolf, you are here for your initial appearance on charges of criminal trespass and disorderly conduct. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing, and in certain circumstances, an attorney can be appointed to represent you if you cannot afford one.
Yeah, I can't afford one.
If I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your next court date, would you appear at your next court date? All right, so I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be March 25th at 8:30 in the morning for an arraignment. There are additional orders for your conditions of release, including that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, and that you have no contact with the alleged victims and do not return to the incident location. If you fail to appear for your next court date, a warrant may issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah. And Judge, which court was that?
Oh, sorry, that's out of Sarita Municipal Court.
Thank you. What?
I'm sorry.
I mean, it was just, oh,
Did you understand, sir?
yes.
All right, then you are excused for today.
So on March 25th at 8:30, you got a very sorry. I mean, yes, right? How many days is that? Say again? How many days is that? So that's going to be a little over a month. So, okay, so I'm good. Yeah. Thank you. Party? Sir? Oh, yeah.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
Just Cardi.
This is. All right, Mr. Cardi, you are here this morning on your first appearance on charges of assault, disorderly conduct. Those were on warrant status, and then a new charge of assault.
Yes. I was
Oh, hold on. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. All right. Sir, if I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear at your next court date, would you appear at your next court date?
yes.
I'll further let you know that you do have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in certain circumstances, it's possible for an attorney to be appointed to represent you. Sir, if I release you in order that you cannot return to your mother's home, do you have somewhere else to go?
Yes, I can. I got pretty house. That's it.
Then that is what I am going to do. I'm ordering that you be released on your promise to appear at your next court date. There are going to be additional conditions on your release. The first one is that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you have no contact with your mother, and that you do not go to your mother's residence. Your next court date is going to be April 1st at 9 a.m. before Judge Blue. If you fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
And you are excused for today.
I'm going to stay with you.
Okay. Is there this?
Good morning. Please state your name.
With all Encinas?
Mr. Encinas, you are here today for your initial appearance on domestic violence charges of assault. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and today I am going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you. Sir, I am going to order at this time that you be held on a bond of $2,500. That's cash or secured. If you were to post that bond Further orders include committing no acts of domestic violence, possessing no firearms or weapons, having no contact of any kind with your wife, Esmeralda Valenzuela Aguilar, and not returning to the incident location. Because you were living there, I assume you would need to return to pick up some belongings.
Yeah.
So I will order that you may return one time with a law enforcement escort to retrieve personal belongings. You'll take my court order to the closest police station to the residence, and they will escort you to pick up your belongings. Your next court date is going to be February 26th at 1:30. That's before Judge Million for an arraignment. And a video review. Should you post bond and fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, you're excused for today.
Since you're Chuck?
Good morning, sir. Please state your full name.
Good morning. My name's David Ochoa.
Great, Mr. Ochoa, you are here today for your initial appearance on charges of disorderly conduct, which is a domestic violence offense. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing, and in certain circumstances, if you cannot afford one, an attorney may be appointed to represent you. Sir, if I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear, would you appear for your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear. There are additional conditions in your release, including that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you possess no firearms or weapons, you have no contact of any kind with Paulina Ornelas, and do not go to her residence. It looks like you were living together?
Yeah.
All right, so I will order that you may return one time with law enforcement to retrieve personal belongings. You'll take my order to the nearest law enforcement office to the residence, and they will escort you to pick up your belongings. Do you have somewhere else to go, sir?
I do. A co-worker's house.
Excellent. Your next court date is going to be March 18th. That's at 1:30 in the afternoon at Tucson City Court for your arraignment. That is with Judge Million. If you fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, you're excused for today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Well,
This is your passport. Bye-bye.
okay.
All right. You said it. Hey, welcome to fun. That'll be released.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
I was seeing that.
Ms. Stapleton?
Ms. Stapleton, you are here on your initial appearance on failure to appear warrants for charges involving criminal trespass, unlawful possession of drug paraphernalia, contributing to the delinquency or dependency of a minor, and resisting arrest. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choosing, and today I am appointing the City of Tucson Public Defender's Office to represent you. I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $500, cash or secured, because these cases have been going on for several years now. If you were to post that bond, additional conditions of release would include that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victims in the various charges, and that you do not return to the incident locations for criminal trespass. And
So I wasn't told about the court dates for the contributing to the delinquency or any of that. So I didn't know that I had to work for those days.
okay. Your next court date is going to be February 28th at 1:45 in the afternoon. That'll be a video review. Should you post your bond, your court date will be March 21st at 9 a.m. Those are all in Tucson City Court. And if you were to fail to appear for any of those, well, for whichever hearing it is in custody, they'll make you available if you're out of custody. It'll be your responsibility to appear. Then a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. You are excused for today.
you're still in custody, it'll be this day and this time. If you're out, if you post the bond, it'll be this day and this time. Okay. Okay. You're good to go. There you go.
Good morning, sir. Please state your full name.
Daniel Ramirez Trujillo.
Mr. Trujillo, you are here today on your initial appearance for charges of assault and disorderly conduct. Those are domestic violence offenses. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and in certain circumstances, an attorney may be appointed to represent you. Sir, if I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear today, would you appear at your next court date?
Yes.
All right, so I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear. There are additional conditions of release. Those include that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim, Cecilia Guzman, and that you do not return to that residence. Is that where you were living, sir? But she was living there?
Yeah, he was living there. That's not my house. He's not on the title.
Sir, since she was living there and she is the alleged victim, I am still ordering that you're the one who's not allowed to go back there for this at this point in time. That is something that can change at future hearings. You will be allowed to go back one time with a law enforcement escort to pick up your belongings. You would take my order to the nearest law enforcement office, and they will escort you to pick up your belongings. Do you have somewhere else to stay, sir?
No, I don't.
There is a trailer outside the jail that you can go to when you are released. It is a transition center. They can help you with resources to find a place to stay in the meantime. Your next court date is going to be March 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is before Judge Million for your arraignment. If you fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant can be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
So you're saying I can't have contact with Cecilia at all, right?
That's correct. The pretrial services was unable to get in touch with her to get her position, so I'm ordering no contact at this time. That is something that can change. She could contact the state through victim services if she chooses.
Any questions for me? Yeah, I'm not going to pay the mortgage. That's like it. That's what you say. Hey, wait, well, I ask you, ma'am, can I ask?
Yeah.
If I can't go back to the residence, what if she decides to leave? Can I go back and live there?
If she decides to leave, then I believe you would be allowed to live there, but my order says that you can't go to her residence. So wherever she's living, that's where you can get. Okay?
Yeah, right. I'm just asking because I would like to have one contact with her.
I'm not going to allow that.
Okay. Can we have just one moment, Your Honor?
Absolutely. Not. Oh no, this is the one I already. No, it's just this. She's going to be at the end. Okay. Thank you for this.
Hola. Thanks, Judge.
Oh, you probably always have to say that for your school. No.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Esmeralda Valenzuela Aguilar.
We'll continue. All right, Miss Valenzuela Aguilar, This is the time set for your initial appearance on charges of criminal damage and disorderly conduct. Those are domestic violence offenses. Ma'am, if I were to order that you be released on your promise to appear, would you appear at your next court date?
Yes.
And, all right, so I am going to order that you, sorry, I don't think I said you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing, and in certain circumstances, an attorney can be appointed for you. I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear at future court dates. Additional conditions of release are going to be that you commit no acts of domestic violence and that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim, Vidal Encinas.
We live together.
And I just heard his case, and I ordered that he is not allowed to return to the residence while you're living there. So he will be allowed to have a one-time police escort come and escort him to pick up some belongings. But while you're staying there, he is not allowed to return pending further order of the court. And I'm ordering that you are allowed to stay there, but you are not allowed to have further contact with him. Do you understand?
Yes. And in the sense that we have kids together, how do we do that?
Do the kids live with you in the home? All right. So, I think between now and then, I'm going to order that you can, if you were to communicate about the kids, would it be telephone or text?
Both. Can I say what my plan was after this, like leaving here?
That's fine.
At least with me. So what I was, because we both have family therapy on Wednesday. After this, we were just going to stay in the home, and then on Wednesday, talk to a therapist and figure out what we were going to do. And I would have told him that if I could stay there. And then, because he is a big help with like transporting me to my kids' appointments, because both of them have like a lot of appointments because they need help, I guess. But like I said, in this weekend, we're going to go to family therapy to figure out what our next steps were. He doesn't really have anywhere to go either, and I don't want to throw him out. Like, I don't want to be like that. But at least that was my plan.
Ma'am, so what I am willing to do is allow you both to communicate via text or phone about your children, but not in person. But I will allow you to attend that family therapy appointment in person, not to go there together, but to both be there at the appointment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we go through Zoom.
Okay. Perfect. These orders can be changed on motion of defense counsel, on motion of the state. So you can contact victim services from the prosecutor's office to discuss what contact can look like. But for today, I'm concerned about the level of violence between the two of you. I'm concerned about the allegations that he put his hand on your neck. And so I am ordering no in-person contact at this time. Your next, did I already tell you your next court date? Okay, that's going to be March 18th. That's at 1:30 in the afternoon in Tucson City Court before Judge Million. Can you add this language that I added to hers to his? Oh, you're all right. If you fail to appear for that court hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand? All right, you're excused for today. Good luck and thank you.
This is your next court date. You're going to be released today. That's stuff you can't do, okay? What I would do is call the city prosecutor and figure out that they can amend it if you need to have more contact with them, okay? You gotta call the city prosecutor.
Can you put that on my
I don't know what their number is, but once you get out of here, you can Google City of Tucson prosecutors like this.
Or is it the actual office? Like this in the city court, is there a place there?
If me and him go together, what we get? Each other, it go together. If you have a staff, then go by myself. Then you can hold it for No, but I mean, like, if we go in different cars, but we go in there but together. I would recommend that you call them by yourself. Okay. Mr. Burrell? Fell in there. Oh, yes, sir.
Please tell me your name.
Carlos Burrell.
Mr. Burrell, you are here today on your initial appearance involving charges of aggravated assault and aggravated domestic violence, including allegations that you impeded the victim's breathing. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney, and today I am appointing the Legal Defender's Office to represent you. It's my understanding that the victim is also on the line today, so I will tell you that you, sir, have counsel seated next to you for the purpose of this hearing only. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. So in considering your conditions of release, I have reviewed information provided about you by pretrial services. I have reviewed the interim complaint detailing the alleged offenses, and I have reviewed the state's recommendation of a bond of $50,000 and release to pretrial services if posted. Sir, do you, state, do you have anything to add to your recommendations?
Your Honor, the state would just note for the court's attention the persistence and the brutality of this particular incident. This isn't his first rodeo, and honestly, the state believes he's an incredibly high risk to the defendant. Excuse me, victim.
Thank you. And then, Rachel, I believe that you are on the line. If you would like to speak, you can hit *6 to unmute yourself and tell me what you want me to know while considering his conditions of release.
Hi. I just wanted to say I know it's ultimately your choice, but I believe that Carlos is a danger, not only to myself, but to my daughter and to the rest of society. I believe he was going to kill me just yesterday. And if he isn't going to take my life, he's going to end up taking another woman's life.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything else?
That's all I have to say right now.
All right. Thank you for being here. And defense, would you like to be heard?
Just briefly, Judge. Carlos is 27 years old. I recognize that there is a significant amount of history here, which means a bond is likely appropriate. We will defer to the court on the amount.
Sir, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $50,000 that is cash or secured. Should you post that bond, you would be released to the custody of pretrial services. There would be additional orders, including that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you commit no acts of domestic violence, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. You may have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim in this case. You may not return to the incident location or her residence to the extent that those are different places. Were you living there, sir?
I'm in the middle of moving, so no.
Do you still have belongings you would need to pick up there if you were released?
No.
Okay. Your next court date is going to be February 28th. That is at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is for your preliminary hearing. It's possible that court date could change, so you will want to keep in good touch with your attorneys so that you are aware of all of your court dates. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for your court date. If you are released, it's your responsibility to appear, and should you fail to appear, it is likely that a warrant will issue for your arrest. Do you understand? All right, you're excused for today.
Decision is court date, okay? Oh, you're gonna be working. You're gonna go. Where? Kennedy?
Good morning, please state your full name.
Claire Kennedy.
Ms. Kennedy, you are here for your initial appearance on charges of child abuse. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to an attorney, and I am appointing the Legal Defender's Office to represent you today. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. And I have reviewed information provided by the pretrial services. I have reviewed the state's request that you be held on a bond of $10,000 plus PTS if released. Would the state like to be heard further?
Your Honor, the state submits on the written recommendations.
And would the defense like to be heard?
Yes, please, Judge. Having reviewed Ms. Kennedy's history here, it looks like the one prior felony arrest that she has, her probation was terminated early and the offense was designated a misdemeanor because of how successfully she was able to engage with the court resources she was given when she was placed on probation. I would also like to highlight from the interim complaint that this is not a case where the police were following Ms. Kennedy as she was crashing into other cars. This is at worst an actual physical control case where the police reported and the car was parked. For those reasons, and I would also add she has a verified address that her mother would be happy to assume third-party custody to ensure that she makes it to court. So first, I would request that she be released to pretrial services for this matter. If the court does believe a bond is appropriate, I believe that a nominal bond will give Ms. Kennedy more than enough skin in the game to ensure that she arrives to court. Only other thing I'd like to be heard on, Judge, I know that the alleged victims in this case are Ms. Kennedy's children. I'd like to work out some sort of release condition so that she can continue to have contact with the children.
All right, I have a couple of questions. It looks like this happened in 2023, the alleged offense. Has there been any, have you been arrested at all since then? And was the Department of Child Safety involved in your case at all?
Yes,
And is that still ongoing or is that ended?
it's still ongoing.
Do you have a case at juvenile court?
No, I actually had I think the initial case was finished, but there's something about a registry or something like that that I appealed.
Oh, okay. All right.
To.
So they're not restricting your contact with your children at all?
No.
And do you have any restrictions on your driving currently?
No.
All right, ma'am, I am going to give you a chance to appear on these charges. You will appear at your next court date?
Yes, absolutely.
So I am going to order that you be released to pretrial services. Additional orders include that you do not drive without a valid license. Should there be any restrictions placed on your driver's license, that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Your next court date is going to be March 10th at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is for your preliminary hearing. That court date might change, so it's important to stay in good touch with your attorney because it is your responsibility to appear at all of your court dates. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thanks. You're excused for today.
So much of your personal is your attorney.
Maxwell.
You know, I look here.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Good morning, Uriah Maxwell.
Mr. Maxwell, you are here on your initial appearance on a couple of different matters. It looks like we have multiple charges out of Pima County Justice Court.
Okay.
Those include aggravated robbery, possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, and discharge of a firearm within city limits. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice, and I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you in this matter. There's counsel seated next to you today solely for the purposes of today's hearing.
Okay.
Are going to talk about your conditions of release now. And in considering those, I have looked at information provided about you from pretrial services. And I have also reviewed the interim complaints and the state's recommendation that you be held on a $35,000 bond and a $15,000 bond. And in either case, if you were to post that bond, that you be released to the custody of pretrial services. Would the state like to be heard further?
Your Honor, other than just to note the rapid fire, pardon the pun, succession of both of these crimes, he's got a juvie record, he's got priors, he has looking at prison time, and he not only was he a prohibited possessor, but he was posting pictures of himself discharging a weapon on social media, and police discovered weapons and ammo matching that. And in the other case, he and his colleagues allegedly knocked over a free wireless store, stole $8,000 plus in phones and material, threatened and implied to the victim that he had a firearm, which in the second case is not out of the realm of likelihood.
Here, it's like on
Stole 12 phones and was later tracked, and lo and behold, he had the 12 phones that were tracked by serial number. Apparently, he didn't know that these phones are tracked. Your Honor, we're looking at 15 and 35. It should be $50,000 total. And this person is a danger to society, and it's entirely possible he has a DOC hold.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Hold on, sir. Jail, is there any sign of a DOC hold?
Yes, Your Honor, there is.
All right. And then, given that, would the defense like to be heard?
Just briefly, Judge, Mr. Maxwell is a young man, and I understand if the court's concerned about the history here. I would like to note that in this case, there's no allegations that I can see that anybody was injured. And then hold on. For whatever that's worth, Judge, he's going to be held on the DOC hold anyway. So if anything, a bond would be in his best interest. We'll defer to the court on the amount.
All right.
Forgive me, Your Honor, my computer seized up for a moment. Did I miss anything substantive?
No. The defense did just indicate the defendant's youth and that with the DOC hold, at least some bond would be in his best interest.
Very good.
Please talk about the bond situation. Like,
So I am going to order, sir, that you be held on a bond of $25,000. That's going to be concurrent with between both cases. Your next court date is going to be February 28th at 1:30 p.m. That's for a preliminary hearing. That court date could change, so it's important to maintain contact with the public defender's office.
Yes.
when I was in Mark saying I'm a menace to society or something, City. So since you said that, is it Mark saying that I'm a menace to society? What do you mean? Is it? Because that's what he was saying. He said that I'm a menace and that I shouldn't be around the community. Is that Mark saying I'm a menace to society? No. That's his job. Okay, he has to tell the court what he's worried about. I know, but they don't even know the whole. Like, can I at least say something? Like, it's a big thing. Like, if I would have been able to say something, my bond would. Just one moment, Judge. One moment, Judge. I know my attorney's name. Judge, any further conditions of release other than the bond?
Yeah. The further conditions of release are no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. If there are any in your possession, surrender them to Pima County Sheriff or Tucson Police. Submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. No contact with the alleged victim, and do not go to the incident location of the robbery charges. And your next court date in both cases is February 28th. That is at 1:30.
Is that my prosecutor? Whoever was
That is at Pima County Justice Court for preliminary hearing. Again, that court date can change, so it's important to keep in touch with your attorney. And sir, no matter what I ordered today, it seems like you would have been held on a hold out of the Department of Corrections.
Yeah.
And your future judge who hears your case can make changes to your bond, so you can, as that situation develops, speak with your attorney about filing a motion to modify conditions of release. If you were to post bond and then fail to appear at your court hearing, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. I just have one question, if that's okay.
Okay.
Is there any way that I can go to DOC while all of this is going on, and then I can come and do my court dates when they're scheduled, just so that I can get back into school?
My understanding is that they will not transport you back and forth for these hearings, but that is also something you can talk to your attorney about to try to find out if there are more options, and your attorney could file a motion if they are aware of good options for that. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. You are excused for today. I didn't do the other one.
25 dollars for all right. But then you get $25 because she wants to run it. See. Okay. Yeah.
I just hadn't been approved yet.
They're going to be purged anyway. Just probably not.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
Annabelle Sanchez.
Ms. Santos, you are here today on your initial appearance for charges of endangerment and aggravated assault. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice. For today, I am appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you have counsel seated next to you for the purpose of today's hearing only. We are going to talk about your conditions of release. I have read information provided about you by pretrial services. I have additionally reviewed the interim complaint, and I have reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $7,500 plus pretrial services if posted. Mr. Poston, would you like to be heard further?
On this one, Your Honor, one moment. No, Your Honor, state submits.
Thank you. And Mr. Marsh, would you like to be heard?
Yes, please, Judge. So this is 2 interim complaint cases, is that right, Judge?
Yes.
Okay, so the first request is that we would ask you to dismiss the endangerment charge for lack of probable cause. I'm reading the felony endangerment statute. I don't see anything alleged in the interim complaint that a substantial risk of imminent death was posed. The interim complaint doesn't even describe this as an actual physical control case. There's no allegation that the car was on, that the keys were in the ignition, that it was near an accessible roadway. The defendant made no statements that she had been driving prior to police contact. All the interim complaint describes is somebody who did not do well on field sobriety tests and said that she was drinking. I don't see a single thing in the interim complaint that could get the court to find that there was probable cause that the child in the car faced a substantial risk of imminent death, which is what's required for the felony charge in the endangerment statute. With respect to the aggravated assault on a peace officer charge, I would like to note that the failure to appear score for Ms. Sanchez is a 2, and that's likely because she doesn't have any history. I'm not sure what reason the court would have to believe that she wouldn't be showing up to court if you were to release her to pretrial services in this case. So for all those reasons, we're requesting release to pretrial.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. One of them is whether, I'm assuming it's the 3-year-old child is her child?
Yes.
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Poston?
Forgive me. Go ahead, Your Honor. The state has some comments and rebuttals to defense whenever you are finished.
Okay, will do. If I start to move on, you can remind me. And do you know who's taking care of her now?
My parents are taking care of them.
If you were released, would they be able to ensure that you were not needed to drive the child anywhere?
Yes, someone will drive me if I needed to go anywhere like that.
And would they be able to be present for all of your contact with the child?
Yes. I live with them.
And has the Department of Child Safety reached out at all?
I don't know.
Okay. You arranged for your child to be placed with your parents?
Yes.
Excellent. All right. I think those are all of my questions, Mr. Poston.
Your Honor, the state noted the probable cause statement on the endangerment charge that the police responded to a slumped over driver. At a minimum, that's ACP, and the vehicle didn't get where it was going by itself. And when the police responded, and this falls into not only the traffic enforcement, DUI prevention, but also the community caretaker, she made gasping sounds. It sounded like she was on the nod or just really, really drunk. She performed poorly on the field sobriety test. The child was in the car. The 3-year-old was in the car seat. And as far as risk of death, traffic accidents cause death every day. And impairment from drugs or alcohol is one of the primary causes of these severe accidents. Now, ag assault, we can look at 13-1204, subsection 8 alpha. If the person commits the assault knowing or having reason to know the person is any of the following: a police officer or a person summoned or directed by the officer. And just looking at simple assault is either intentionally knowing or recklessly causing injury, or intentionally placing another person in reasonable apprehension of imminent physical injury, or knowingly touching or touching another with the intent to insult, or provoke such person. At the least, we have somebody knowingly touching with the intent to injure by kicking a cop in uniform. So it's pretty obvious she should have known she was in uniform. And intoxication is no defense. Even if one is hammered, one's going to see the man with the vest that says police on it, the gun, and all his other.
I don't think there was an argument that there's no probable cause for that charge. I think the argument.
I'm just being thorough.
Yeah, thank you.
And Your Honor.
Anything else?
So, Your Honor, the state submits that there is probable cause for both and submits on its previous recommendation.
Okay. All right. So, ma'am, if I were to release you, I would order that you have no unsupervised contact with the child, and you would need to appear for your next court date. If you didn't appear, a warrant would issue for your arrest. If I do release you to pretrial services, will you promise to appear for your next court date?
I have never missed court. I will not start now.
All right. So I am going to order that you be released to pretrial services. There are going to be some other conditions as well. The first is that if there's anything going on with your license, that you do not drive without a valid license. The next is that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs at all, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, that you have, no unsupervised contact with the alleged victim.
And just a clarifying question, Judge. So if Ms. Sanchez is going to be living with her parents at their home, which is also where the child is staying, that means Ms. Sanchez will not be allowed to be at home alone with the child. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Your Honor, the state would encourage the court to enter an order saying absolutely no driving whatsoever, not just not driving without a license. State believes she's demonstrated the capacity to drive whilst impaired, which is a risk to her children.
I did just notice that there is another hold on Ms. Sanchez. Do you have another case, Ms. Sanchez, that there would be a hold on you for? You don't have to tell me what it is.
I don't know about no hold. Because I went to court. I've done everything I'm supposed to.
Judge, if I may. If I may, Judge, I believe that's for Anissa Sanchez, who we also have scheduled for initial appearance this morning. I'm showing that Annabelle Sanchez does not have any holds.
Oh, you're right. I am looking at the wrong. I'm looking at the wrong place on the list. Thank you. All right. Your next court date, ma'am, is going to be March 10th at 1:30. That is at Pima County Justice Court. That's for a preliminary hearing. You'll want to keep in touch with your attorney as that court date may change. I'm not going to order that you cannot drive at all, but I am going to order that you should not drive under any level of influence from any substance at all. Do you understand the conditions of release?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that a warrant can issue for your arrest if you do not appear at your next court date?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You are excused for today.
Sure. First secretary. Yeah, the next matter is the interpreter, Mary. Do we have the interpreter on board? And then we're done.
Yes, Anna, the interpreter's ready.
Thank you.
Just call both when I get out.
Yes, I'm going to reach out first. Make sure they can get it from you, and then I'll come in. Okay.
Thank you.
And some minutes. Well, please.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
Buenos días, ¿me puede dar su nombre completo?
Héctor Delio Torres Huerta.
Héctor Delio Torres Huerta.
Mr. Torres Huerta, today is the time for your initial appearance on charges of aggravated assault, armed robbery, and burglary.
Señor Torres Huerta, el día de hoy usted está compareciendo en una comparecencia inicial porque tiene acusaciones de agresión con agravantes, robo a mano armada e entrada ilegal.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice, and today I am appointing the public defender to represent you.
Usted tiene el derecho de permanecer callado. Todo lo que diga puede y será utilizado en su contra. Usted también tiene el derecho de contratar a su propio abogado, pero en este caso le voy a asignar al defensor público para que lo represente.
And counsel is seated next to you for the purposes of today's hearing.
Abogado está sentado enseguida de usted para el propósito de esta audiencia.
We're going to talk about your conditions of release today, sir.
Y hoy vamos a hablar de las condiciones de liberación, señor.
And it's my understanding that your wife is present in the courtroom to support you.
Y tengo entendido que su esposa está presente en el juzgado para apoyarlo.
I have reviewed information provided by pretrial services as well as the interim complaint.
Bueno, yo he revisado su expediente y su causa porque tengo información que me proporcionó los servicios previos al juicio y también he revisado la denuncia provisional.
And I have reviewed the recommendation by the state that you be held on a bond of $15,000 plus pretrial services if released.
Y también ya revisé la recomendación del fiscal. El fiscal está solicitando que se le fije una fianza de $15,000 y si usted deposita esa fianza, queda bajo la supervisión de los servicios previos al juicio.
And I believe the state would like to be heard further on that recommendation.
Pienso que el fiscal tiene algo más que agregar en esa recomendación.
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, having re-reviewed this information in the pretrial website took a while to re-update, but what I'm looking at is there are two incidents involving persons there looks like there's an additional, there are two counts of ag assault. So we're looking at multiple victims here. State believes that it should be 25,000, and not 15. It's been alleged that this person threatened and then pistol whipped somebody, and having entered where he was not welcome. And we're looking at quite a bit of just very violent behavior. State believes this person is a risk, 25,000.
Okay, may I interpret that, Mr. Poston?
Sure.
Okay.
El fiscal dice, su señoría, basándome en una reevaluación que he hecho de toda la información, parece que hubo 2 incidentes o al menos tiene 2 acusaciones de agresión con agravantes con diferentes víctimas. Parece que el señor amenazó a alguien con un arma de fuego y también entró a un lugar donde no era bienvenido. Tiene bastante acciones del comportamiento violento y por eso yo pienso que el señor es un riesgo y por esas razones la fiscalía está solicitando que se le fije una fianza de $25,000 y no de $15,000.
Mr. Marks, would you like to be heard?
Yes, please, Judge.
Le pregunta a la jueza al abogado defensor que si quiere él dar su recomendación y dice que sí.
I would just like to know for the court that Mr. Torres Puerta is ones across the board.
And counsel, could you repeat that? He went across the board?
No, I'm sorry. He's ones across the board. He has a 1 on the new criminal activity scale and a 1 on the failure to appear scale.
Thank you. Sí, el abogado defensor dice que el señor Torres Huerta salió en la escala de evaluación de riesgo número 1 por delitos nuevos y por faltas de comparecencia también. Sale en el número 1.
He also has a verified address, and I'm not seeing criminal history of any kind.
Y el señor tiene una dirección que ha sido verificada y también estoy viendo que él no tiene antecedentes penales.
Based on the severity of the alleged conduct, we agree that a bond is appropriate in this case, but we would request nothing more than $10,000.
Basándome en el comportamiento tan delicado y grave que tuvo el señor y que pensamos que se le fije una fianza, pero no más de $10,000. Eso sería apropiado.
Sir, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $10,000. That'll be cash or secured.
Señor, sí voy a ordenar, dice la juez, que se le fije una fianza de $10,000 en efectivo o en garantía.
Should you post that bond, you'll be released to the custody of pretrial services and ordered to submit to any monitoring or treatment as they direct.
Y si usted deposita la fianza, usted va a quedar bajo la custodia y supervisión de los servicios previos al juicio. Y usted debe de cumplir con todo el tratamiento y monitoreo que ellos le indiquen.
Additional orders include that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs and possess no firearms or weapons and surrender any firearms that you do possess.
Y señor, las condiciones de liberación adicionales incluyen que usted no debe de consumir bebidas alcohólicas ni sustancias ilegales y no debe de portar o poseer ningún tipo de arma de fuego. Y también usted debe de entregar cualquier arma de fuego que tenga en su posesión.
And those would be surrendered to either the Pima County Sheriff's Department or Tucson Police.
Y usted debe de entregar estas armas de fuego al sherifato del condado de Pima o al departamento de policía de Tucson.
Further orders are that you have no contact with the alleged victim and do not return to the incident location.
Y condiciones adicionales son que usted no debe se le ordena no tener contacto con las presuntas víctimas y usted no puede regresar al lugar de los hechos.
Your next court date will be February 28th at 1:30 p.m.
Su próxima audiencia sería el 28 de febrero a la 1:30 de la tarde.
If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available, but if you post bond and are released, it's your responsibility to appear.
Bueno, usted va a permanecer en la cárcel hasta la próxima audiencia y si usted deposita la fianza, es su responsabilidad presentarse a su próxima audiencia.
If you fail to appear for your future court dates, a warrant can issue for your arrest.
Si usted no se presenta a su próxima audiencia, se puede emitir una orden de arresto para que lo vuelvan a detener.
You understand?
¿Le quedó claro, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you. You're excused for today.
Gracias. Y se puede retirar por el día de hoy. And Your Honor, I believe that was the only Spanish speaker for today.
Can the jail confirm?
Correct, Your Honor.
Thank you. The interpreter is excused.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Have a good day.
You too. Good morning. Please state your name.
Carolyn Alfsager.
Ms. Elfslager, you are here on your initial appearance on a few different matters today. So you have new charges of theft and criminal trespass and older charges of possession of narcotic drugs, dangerous drugs, drug paraphernalia, and older charges of shoplifting. You have the right to remain silent on all of these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. And today I am going to appoint the Public Defender's Office to represent you on the felony charges. We're going to talk about your conditions of release in each of these cases. And we will start with the felony charges.
Your Honor, the state notes that these are strictly drug user possession charges. That said, she's a 6 out of 6, so the state is going to ask for a $2,500 bond.
And would you consider her eligible for step?
She has a warrant, so it's going to be, unless she's actually posted and releases, I would say yes, she would appear to be steps eligible.
That's what I thought. Okay. I think because there was a warrant that steps is not allowed in this situation.
I think the underlying Superior Court case was a steps eligible case, Judge, and I think that the steps case was terminated, so I don't think she'd be eligible.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Okay. All right. Ma'am, I have considered information provided by pretrial services about you. I have also heard, as you have, the state's request that you be held on a bond of $2,500 on the felony charges. And would you like to be heard, Mr. Marsh?
Yes, Judge. The warrant out of Superior Court that is for those felony charges we're talking about lists a bond amount of $500. I'm not sure why that wouldn't be appropriate. So we would just ask you to affirm the bond amount that was already recommended when she first picked up a warrant in the 2024 3983 case.
Great. I am going to, in the dangerous drugs case, I am going to order that bond of $500. That'll be cash or secured. If you are released on that case due to posting bond, you will be released to pretrial services. Additional orders will include that you submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you possess no firearms or weapons. Your next court date on that case is going to be February 25th at 1:30 in Superior Court for an arraignment. And then the next one is shoplifting out of Pima County Justice Court. I am going to order in that case that you be held on a bond of $250. That's cash or secured, and you will be seen tomorrow. Is something wrong? No, this is Superior. Or sorry, this is Justice Court. Sorry. You will be heard tomorrow at 1:00 p.m. before Judge Steele on that case. So you'll be able to get that taken care of. Additional conditions of release, should you post that bond and be released, include that you do not have any contact with the alleged victims or return to the incident location. I'm appointing Christian Salter to represent you in that case. If you were to, on this one, if she were to post, would it be the other date or same date? If you were to post your bond, your court date would still be tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if you failed to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. And then you also have a case out of Marana City Court. And if I hold you on that case, you can also be heard tomorrow via video on that case. That'll be tomorrow at noon. So I am going to impose $100 cash or secured bond, no contact with the alleged victim, and I'm appointing Janet Altschuler to represent you in that case. So you'll have court at noon and at 1 tomorrow via video. If you were to post your bond, then you would really need to get in touch with your attorney to explain why you can't be in both places at once. And then in your Tucson City Court case, I am going, well, ma'am, if I ordered that you be released in this case and you were able to secure your release in the other cases by dealing with those at your hearings, would you appear for your next court date in Tucson City Court?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I am going to order that you be released on your promise to appear in this case. Your next court date will be April 18th at 9 a.m. before Judge Cranshaw. For a non-transport review.
Yeah.
But if she's released on her other cases, it'll be March 18th.
Yes.
Oh, it'll be the same either way. Okay.
Yeah. Like that. It'll be a court sign.
And I am going to appoint the City of Tucson Public Defender to represent you in that case. Further orders are that you have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim and do not return to the incident location. And that court date is April 18th at 9 a.m. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah.
These are new charges, right? So it's also the time for your arraignment because these are new charges out of Tucson City Court. So I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, let you know that you are presumed to be innocent. And if you fail to appear at your future hearings, not only can a warrant issue for your arrest, but the hearings can also go forward without you, including a trial. If you're convicted at trial and fail to appear for sentencing for at least 90 days, you can lose your right to a direct appeal. Do you understand those additional consequences of failing to appear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, then you are excused for today. Thank you.
If you're here, the plaintiff is held. Right? And then you'll get held separately on all these. So don't post one of them unless you post all of them. Right? But it's just like 800. That's not. Yeah. You don't know this. That's what I said. Was the first next week's steps we can show up. Like it's like in our head, so that's the issue. You're the very push steps. It's probably the morning. Yes.
That's the long thing.
So talk to them. That's it.
Oh yeah, man.
Good morning. Please state your full name.
Malia Rose Escalante.
Ms. Escalante, this is the time for your initial appearance on charges of aggravated robbery. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. I am appointing the legal defender's office to represent you in this case. And there's an attorney seated next to you for purposes of today's hearing. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. I have reviewed the interim complaint describing the alleged offense. I have reviewed information provided by pretrial services about you. And I have additionally reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $10,000 and if posted, released to pretrial services. Mr. Poston, do you need to be heard any further?
Your Honor, post Miranda, this person admitted to being a driver in a bank robbery. $10,000.
And Mr. Marsh, would you like to be heard?
Just briefly, Judge, I note that she's a 1 on the failure to appear scale, a 2 on the new criminal activity scale. I also think that she has a juvenile probation hold, which means I think she's going to be kept here anyway. So we agree that a bond is appropriate. Her mother verified her address. She's a lifelong Tucson resident. I don't think if she posts a bond, she's going to have anywhere to go other than be in Tucson. So for those reasons, we think that a lower bond, probably in the neighborhood of $1,000, is appropriate.
I'm not finding her date of birth. How old is she?
18 years old, Judge.
All right, so Ms. Escalante, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $2,500. That is cash or secured. If you post that bond, you will be released to pretrial services. If your other matter has also been, if you're released on your other matter as well, otherwise you would still be held on that other matter. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Further orders would be that you possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you submit to monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services, that you have no contact with the alleged victim, and that you do not go to the incident location, and also that you contact your assigned probation officer on the first working day following your release from custody. Let me see. Number is your court date is going to be February 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon for a preliminary hearing at Pima County Justice Court. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for that hearing. Should you be released, it'll be your responsibility to appear. And if you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear?
Yes.
All right, you are excused for today.
A beautiful bond.
You call your one else.
Okay.
I didn't know which one of those was juvenile, so I did not click the hold on that. I mean, can I do APO for a juvenile probation hold? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thanks. All right, please tell me your name.
Wendy Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, this is the time set for your initial appearance on charges of unlawful possession of narcotic paraphernalia and unlawful flight from law enforcement. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you, and you do have counsel seated next to you for the purposes of today's hearing. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. And I have reviewed information provided about you from pretrial services. I have additionally reviewed the interim complaint And I have reviewed the state's recommendations, which include that you be held on a bond of $10,000 and released to pretrial services if that bond is posted. Does the state need to be heard further?
State submits.
And Mr. Marsh?
Thank you, Judge. So Mr. Martinez, I'm seeing one felony fire from him, and it's pretty old. It's over a decade old. I would also like to note that he is a lifelong Tucson resident. From what I can read of the interim complaint, I think the interim complaint paints a pretty bad picture. But the charges before this court are not something like aggravated assault on a peace officer. So I'm not really sure how the two class 6s the court is looking at are really aligning with the interim complaint. If the court's inclined to hold him, we would defer on a bond amount.
I am going to order that you be held, sir, on a bond of $5,000, cash or secured. If you post that bond, you'll be released to the custody of pretrial services. Additional orders would be that you do not drive without a valid license, that you possess and consume no alcohol or drugs, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Your next court date is going to be February 28th. That is at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is at Pima County Justice Court. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for that hearing. If you post bond and are released, it'll be your responsibility to appear at that day and time. If you do not appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You're excused for today.
Yeah, never told me about that. That's okay. So just call your lawyers and more information, right? Yeah, there's something else for felony shooting. I'll call your crew and more information. Okay. Yeah, stay right there. Miller, Jonathan Miller.
Please state your full name.
Jonathan Allen Miller, date of birth 01/05/2002.
Thank you. Mr. Miller, this is the time set for your initial appearance on charges of unlawful flight from law enforcement. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. I am appointing the Public Defender's Office to represent you today, and you have counsel appointed next to you for the purposes of this hearing. We're going to talk about your conditions of release. I have reviewed the interim complaint. I have also reviewed information provided by pretrial services. And I have reviewed the request from the state that you be held on no bond. And that request would be based on if you were on release on another felony at the time of being charged with this felony. And is that, Mr. Poston, is that the flight from law enforcement from November 19th of 2024?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great, sir. If you are on release for one felony offense and get arrested for another one, the state has the right to ask that you be held on no bond. And I am required to honor that request. So I am going to order that you be held without bond at this point in time. I am going to set this case for a no bond hearing. That's going to be on February 24th at 2:30 in the afternoon. At that time, the state will either present a case for you to continue to be held on no bond or another bond, and conditions of release will be set. Should I give him the other date as well, or just the no bond hearing date? Okay, great. And then you will also have your preliminary hearing set for February 28th at 1:30 in the afternoon. It's possible that date will change, so you will want to keep in touch with your attorney. And I don't see the attorney in here. Miller. And the public defender, I might have accidentally removed it. The public defender is appointed. I think I said that before. Do you understand the consequences of failing to appear should you fail to appear? I didn't say them. If you are released at your no bond hearing and you fail to appear for a future court date, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah, I have a question. That's cool.
Go ahead.
So, because right now I can't get a bond right now. Does that mean that in a couple of days I could get a bond or I could get released or something?
Yeah, so it'll be February 24th is the court hearing where you will find out if you are going to get a bond. Do you understand? Any other questions? All right, thank you. You're excused for today.
Thanks with you, Mr. Miller.
Ramon.
Good morning. Please state your name.
Ramon.
Mr. Ramon, this is the time for your initial appearance on charges of tampering with evidence and possession of narcotics. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice, but I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you.
Yeah. So far.
Well, I'm like, I look 15 years old, that's over there. Yeah. Good funny. Okay.
I have reviewed information provided by pretrial services. I have also reviewed the interim complaint, and I have, well, both interim complaints, and I have reviewed the state's request that you be held on no bond because you were charged with these felonies while on release for another felony. Is that the April 2024 possession of narcotic, dangerous drugs, drug paraphernalia, resisting arrest, and tampering with physical evidence, Mr. Poston?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, the state does have the right to request that you be held on no bond in the circumstances, and I am required to honor that request. Would the defense like to be heard?
That's from us, Judge.
Right. Sir, there will be a court date on February 24th at 2:30 p.m. to determine if a bond will be set for you. You will also have a court date on February 28th at 1:30. That's for your preliminary hearing. It is possible that that date will change, so it is important to stay in touch with your attorney. Do you have any questions about the new charges?
No, Your Honor, no.
Okay. And then we have the, let me just pull this up here. Criminal trespassing charges. On those, I am going to order a bond of $500, cash or secured. If you were to post that bond and be released on those charges after your other cases are situated, the additional conditions would be no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and monitoring or treatment as directed. Nope, that's not right. That's all. Just no alcohol or illegal drugs and no firearms or weapons. And no contact with the alleged victim, and don't return to the incident location. Your next court date on that charge is going to be February 19th at 1 p.m. That's tomorrow. Do you have any questions about that, sir?
Yeah.
And you are excused for today.
It's the whole chat. Okay. Call them. Okay. Thank you. Romero. Third. Okay.
Please state your full name.
Santa Cruz Romero.
Mr. Romero, this is the time set for your initial appearance on charges of theft of means of transportation. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing. I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you, and there is counsel seated next to you for the purposes of today's hearing. I have reviewed information provided by pretrial services about you, sir, and I have also reviewed the request from the state that you be held on a bond of $5,000. Do you need to be heard any further, Mr. Postons?
No, Judge.
And Mr. Marsh?
Thank you, Judge. I would just like to add that Mr. Romero's history here is pretty old. The most recent case is from 2010, and it looks like when he was given a short term of probation for those two priors that you're seeing, he completed probation successfully in the time that he was given. It also appears that since then, there hasn't been any new criminal activity. I would also note that while I think the court's going to agree that there's probable cause of the interim complaint, an explanation for this behavior is that this was an honest mistake. So for those reasons, if the court's inclined to hold him, I don't think anything more than $1,000 bond is warranted, but we would be asking for release to pretrial services.
Sir, I am going to order a bond of $500. That will be cash or secured. I'm going to order that if you post that bond and are released, you are released to pretrial services. You may not possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You may not possess any firearms or weapons. You must submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. You may have no contact with U-Haul and not return to the incident location. Your next court date will be February 28th. That is at 1:30 in the afternoon. That is at Pima County Justice Court. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for that hearing. If you are released, you are responsible for appearing at that hearing. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. You're excused for today.
I'm sorry, Judge, I think I missed it. Did you appoint public defender or legal defender?
I believe it was the public defender. Is that? I just sent the document away, so.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was public defender.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sanchez.
Yes, please. Thank you. morning. Please state your full name.
Rosel Sanchez.
Sorry, was that Ms. Sanchez?
Yes.
Okay. You are here this morning for your initial appearance on charges of possession of a dangerous drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. I believe that you also have another hold on a case that I am not seeing you for today that would keep you in custody regardless of what I do here.
Do you know how long that hold is?
I do not. I don't have any information about that case. Let me tell you that you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choice. I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, and there is counsel seated next to you for the purposes of today's hearing. Oh, it looks like that may be a probation hold out of Santa Cruz County. And that you also have Cochise County cases as well.
Cochise County has a hold on me. Both of them.
So we are going to talk about your conditions of release on these cases that are before me today, the drug and drug paraphernalia cases. I have reviewed the interim complaints. I have reviewed information provided by pretrial services, and I have reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $1,000 and, if posted, released to pretrial services. Do you need to be heard any further, Mr. Poston?
No, Judge.
And Mr. Marsh?
Nothing but to add that pretrial is reporting that the instant charges are eligible for steps. So if we could get her step state, that would be great.
Okay. So, ma'am, there is a pre-indictment diversion program that you are eligible for called STEPS. If you were to successfully complete the program, which would include substance abuse treatment, it's possible that the state would not go forward with these new drug charges. Are you interested in that program?
Yeah.
All right, so I am going to set you a date for that program. That'll be February 25th at 9 a.m. At that hearing, you'll be able to talk with an attorney about the program. You will also be able to talk to pretrial services and service providers. I am going to order a bond of $500 on these charges. That'll be cash or secured. It's possible that that will change at the STEPS hearing on February 25th. If you do post, you will be released to pretrial services if you are released. And further conditions include no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, and monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. However, at this time, it looks like if you were to post bond, you would just be released to those other jurisdictions. If you were to fail to appear for your future court hearings, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand? All right.
Yeah.
All right, you are excused for today.
But you're still and I think the only worry is that Cochise County, yeah.
But Cochise County, the two of them, I was already in jail on my PS.
So go on to that. You on court that day? Okay. Call my office to know more interest. Stewart.
Good morning, please state your name.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jason Alexander Stewart.
Mr. Stewart, you are here on your initial appearance on charges of burglary, You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire an attorney of your choice. I am appointing the public defender's office to represent you. Thank you. We are going to talk about and you have counsel seated next to you for the purposes of today's hearing. We're going to talk about your conditions of release today. It looks like, well, I have reviewed information from pretrial services. I have reviewed the interim complaint in this case, and I have reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on no bond at this point in time. And let me see, November 2024. Mr. Poston, what's the prior felony he was released on? What's the date of that?
Stand by one, Your Honor. Let me look that up.
I've got January 16th, Judge. I-8 on January 17th of this year.
Thank you, counsel.
In that case, this is alleged to have been committed before that one. So would you like to change your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. Forgive me for not noticing the timing on that one. Give me just 1 second.
And sir, if you commit a new felony while released on another felony, the state can ask for no bond, but because of the timing of these, no bond would not apply in this situation. So I am asking the state for a bond recommendation, and then we will hear from your counsel after that.
Thank you.
Your Honor, reviewing this on the fly, what I see here is, looks like he has a court-martial conviction for felony in 2010, as well as 4 2022 convictions in Washington State. Another one in Washington State, 2024. A lot of auto theft, some burglary. The pending Arizona case is burglary, and let me look at the IC for Mr. Stewart. And it was a vehicle break-in. 3 vehicles were broken into, things were stolen. Blood matched for a DNA screen to the defendant, so rather clear cut. Given everything, given his background, given the other crime, the estate's going to ask for $7,500. This person just can't seem to stop stealing cars.
Mr. Marsh?
Thank you, Judge. I understand the state's concern about the history here and the nature of the instant offense. I would like to note that even given that history, Mr. Stewart is still only 3s on the failure to appear and new criminal activity scales, which must mean that pretrial has more information than we're seeing. Usually in cases where there's a history like this, those scales are way more elevated. The only other thing that I would have to add is that the defendant's sister verified all the information that he gave to pretrial. He's got a full-time job. He's got a steady address. So I also think a bond is appropriate, but probably closer in the realm of $1,000 to $2,000, Judge.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Marsh. Sir, I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $5,000 at this time. That'll be cash or secured. If you post that bond and are released, you'll be released to pretrial services. You'll submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. Further orders include that you possess and consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, that you possess no firearms or weapons, that you have no contact with the alleged victims and do not return to the incident location, and that you contact pretrial services on your first working day following release, since you were already on pretrial services before today. Your next court date is going to be February 28th. That's at 1:30 in the afternoon. If you remain in custody, the jail will make you available for that hearing. Should you be released, it'll be your responsibility to appear. If you fail to appear, a warrant can issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yeah, sure.
All right. You're excused for today.
Okay, so my office call, right? Okay.
Suarez.
Please state your name.
Morning, Your Honor. Angel Rafael Suarez Parra.
Mr. Suarez Parra, this is the time set for your initial appearance. We've got a few different matters going on here. We have new charges of aggravated robbery, as well as city court Tucson City Court charges of DUI. You have the right to remain silent on these charges. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to hire the attorney of your choosing for the charges of aggravated robbery. I am going to appoint the public defender's office to represent you. We're going to talk about your conditions of release one at a time. First, the new charges, and then we'll go to the city court charges. I have reviewed the interim complaint. I have reviewed information provided by pretrial services about you. And I have also reviewed the state's recommendation that you be held on a bond of $10,000 and released to pretrial services if posted. Mr. Poston, do you have anything else to add?
Your Honor, this is another of the drivers of the bank robber of Tucson Federal Credit Union. Admitted to it post Miranda during an interview, it would appear.
Thank you. Mr. Marsh?
Thank you, Judge. Just to clarify Mr. Poston's point about the interim complaint, the worst version of what Mr. Suarez Parra admitted to is that he drove a friend to an apartment complex. So this is not a case where Mr. Suarez Parra is admitting to any of the substance of the crime. I think the state aptly noted that this is an accomplice case. So Mr. Suarez Parra was not the person in the bank. The only other thing that I would note for the court is that he has no history of any kind as far as pretrial can tell. We'll defer to the court on the interim, Judge.
Thank you. All right, I am, sir, going to order that you be held on a bond of $2,500 cash or secured. In this case, you will be released to pretrial services if you post that bond, and you will submit to any monitoring or treatment as directed by pretrial services. You will possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, have no contact with the alleged victim, and do not go to the incident location. You should also contact... Nope, this is the wrong place. Sorry. 1 second. I'm just going to go with that. Okay. All right. All right, so as I was saying, no contact with the alleged victim. Do not go back to the incident location. Next court date will be February 28th. That will be at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing. It's possible that hearing may change, so it's important to stay in touch with your attorney. If you were to be, if you remain in custody, you will be made available by the jail for that hearing. If you post bond and are released, then it's your responsibility to appear, and a warrant can issue for your arrest if you do not. Do you understand? And then turning to your city court case. Oh, is this where sorry, I've only seen this form once before. Is this where I would put the book? Okay. This case has been going on since 2023, so I am going to order that you be held on a bond of $250. And your next court date in your city court case is going to be February 28th, 2025 at 1:45 p.m. Any prior conditions of release are affirmed in that case. If you fail to appear for that hearing, a warrant can issue for your arrest. If you are released, it'll be your responsibility to be there. And if you remain in custody, the jail will make you available. Do you understand? Thank you. You're excused for today.
We have 2 bonds. Don't push them unless you can post both. Okay? All right. We got all that more information on it.
Right. That's everything that I have. Does anyone have anything else?
Like we're good, Your Honor.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks, Judge.